All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Go Anywhere Product Enhancements. My name is Eric Schmidt. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Geotab, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be covering off some exciting updates that have improved the performance, reliability, and usability of the Go Anywhere Asset Tracker. So whether you're a current customer or you're exploring options, you'll see how to use these enhancements and how it can track and manage your assets more effectively. And before we dive into today's updates, let's start with some quick introductions to the Go Anywhere product and how it's been making an impact so far. The Go Anywhere was first introduced to the market in 2024 as Geotab's step into non-vehicle based telematics. Since its launch, it's been a reliable solution for tracking high value, non-powered and mobile assets across a wide range of industries. And over the past year, our product team has listened to customer feedback, learned from real-world deployments, and have made significant enhancements to improve the product's reliability, flexibility, and overall performance. We're going to be going over all of those enhancements today, as well as some of those use cases as to how some of our customers have been using the product so far. So here's what we're going to be covering over the next 40 minutes or so. So first, we're going to cover off keeping track of what matters most. We'll discuss the importance of asset tracking, the scale of untracked assets in industries today. We're going to have a Go Anywhere overview, which is a brief recap of the Go Anywhere features and what really makes it possible to help in all these use case scenarios. We're going to be covering off, of course, the enhancements, diving into the latest updates, including those improvements to battery life, reporting flexibility, and stability. Then we're going to cover off some of the best practices for leveraging the enhancements to improve the tracking of your assets. We're going to cover all of this off at the end by looking at real-world use cases and how customers are benefiting from Go Anywhere, including some use cases you might not have thought of before. Finally, we'll have a Q&A at the end where we'll open the floor to questions to ensure that you have all of the answers that you need. And just on that, very quickly, to submit a question, you should see a Q&A option where you can write in a question, and we'll have the team look to get back to you on that question on the stream here today or follow up afterwards. All right, so without further ado, let me jump over. We'll introduce our panelists that are on the call today. We have a great line of speakers bringing you the insights directly from the product and the business team. First, we have Ben Gaffney, a Senior Product Manager at Geotab. Ben plays a critical role in driving product development for Go Anywhere, ensuring that it meets the evolving needs of our customers. Next, we have Amy Bohm, AVP of the Latlon Business for Solution Partnership Team at Geotab. Amy brings extensive experience as well in asset tracking solutions and is instrumental in aligning Go Anywhere with the industry demands. And finally, you have my information should you need it as well. So when we think about fleet management, we often focus on vehicles, of course, and keeping our drivers safe and productive. But what about everything else that moves with those vehicles? The trailers, generators, scissor lifts, road signs. These assets are essential, yet they often remain untracked. And this can lead to delays, inefficiencies, and unnecessary costs. So this is where Go Anywhere comes in. So a simple way of looking at it is if it's valuable and if it moves, you'll want to know where it is and probably where it's been. And most importantly, if someone moves it and they shouldn't have. So it's not just about avoiding losses, but it's also about keeping your operations moving, improving efficiency, and giving you the peace of mind that your assets are at the right place at the right time. So Go Anywhere is designed to do just that, designed to track anything, anywhere. whether it's on the job site, in transit, or in storage. It doesn't matter. Go Anywhere adapts to your needs, giving you control over how your assets are tracked so you have peace of mind. We want you to be able to keep track of what matters most. And with that brief introduction, maybe a way of thinking about what you might want to track, I'll pass over to you, Amy, now, which will highlight a few of the key features that make all of that possible.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So, Go Anywhere. In general, it is designed to help businesses keep track of their most valuable assets, just like Eric mentioned, no matter where they are. Here's kind of what stands out, as you see on your screen. Rugged and reliable, built for harsh environments with IP68 and IP69K certification, meaning it's dustproof, waterproof. It can withstand those extreme temperatures. Easy to install. It comes with screws and magnets. You can also use zip ties. We've sort of seen that in some of our use cases. And again, can be quickly attached to both powered and unpowered assets. Configurable tracking modes. You can choose a time-based or movement-based tracking, so you'll only get updates when you need them. That helps extend the battery life. We'll talk about those a little bit further down in our PowerPoint. Long battery life. Operates from a 3 to 5 year battery life. We have a proactive battery health alert also, so you'll know when it's time for replacement. And unified asset and fleet management fully integrates with My Geotab, so businesses can use the My Geotab platform to track their fleet and assets in one dashboard and advanced reporting and alerts. So again, Go Anywhere helps businesses track and protect high valuable assets in any environment. We have recent updates released February 10th that help improve reliability, battery performance, and reporting flexibility. So now let's pass it off to Ben, and he can take us through some of these enhancements and what they mean for you. Ben?
Perfect. Thanks, Amy. Good to see everyone. Thank you for joining. So we're going to go through a deep dive of some of the different enhancements that are a part of this release. As Amy walked us through, there's a number of updates, things like flexible reporting, proactive battery monitoring, which gives customers and businesses more control over when and how their assets are tracked with the Go Anywhere. So with these enhancements, the Go Anywhere is more adaptable than ever. Whether you need things like scheduled updates or movement-based updates or high-frequency location pings, we can deliver a mode that fits your needs. So what we're looking at here is a quick overview of the new moding setup that we have for the device. I'll start on the left-hand side. So the first mode that we are offering to our customers is a time-based mode. This mode effectively acts like an egg timer. So it allows customers to be able to choose a reporting frequency, be it 2, 4, 8, 12, or 24-hour update, that they will receive both a location update and a communication from the device indicating where your asset is. Any of the times that you choose are able to be set on a time of day. So say if you choose 9 a.m. and 12-hour reporting, you will receive an update as to where that asset is at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. every day. Some use cases where this is applicable, maybe some stationary assets that don't move very often or things that have low movement. It's also applicable to some assets or use cases that we've seen where devices may vibrate, like a vacuum truck, for example. The second mode that we're offering is a movement-based mode. Whenever a movement is detected by the device over 9 miles per hour, around 650 feet from its core location, the device will communicate to My Geotab and say that I am on a trip. When it is on a trip, the device will accumulate GPS location every 30 minutes while in motion. And once it stops and becomes stationary at its end location, it will confirm that it is now stationary and it will communicate to My Geotab that it has now stopped. So this helps for customer use cases where you're trying to track something to be able to get an understanding of where it's been and where it's headed. It's very good for moving assets where you're looking for that kind of location history. And it does save power when an asset is not moving. So when an asset is not moving, you will receive an update every 72 hours from the device, just indicating, hey, I'm still here, I'm still reporting. With more movement on an asset, is more utilization of the device and more utilization of the battery as well. So customers can choose between time-based or movement-based reporting. Those changes can be made in bulk across your fleet or on a per device basis. The final mode that we have here is high frequency update. If you have utilized the Go Anywhere product before, you may know this as asset recovery. So we have changed the terminology here. So high frequency update is a mode in which the device will communicate its GPS location to my Geotab every 5 minutes. This is key for situations where you may be looking to recover an asset during theft or loss. And these situations where you need that kind of immediate understanding of where your asset is. We will provide these updates regardless of if the device is moving or stationary to give you the most up-to-date information as to where the asset is. I think with that, Eric, why don't we proceed on and we can speak to how some of these modes are shown in my Geotab. So the first piece that we're looking here is sync mode. These sync mode settings can be picked up on the asset details page of each specific asset. They can also be modified in bulk from the main assets page in my Geotab. What we're showing here is your capability to be able to choose both the date time that you are going to have a asset or Go Anywhere tracker communicate to my Geotab, as well as the frequency and time-based mode, or a movement-based mode, the capability to choose what time the device will communicate in if your asset is stationary. So as I indicated earlier, we have introduced these two new modes. They can be found within the asset details page. One thing that I do want to note is that all times that are referenced in my Geotab are in reference to a device's local time. So if you are a fleet manager who's sitting in San Antonio, who's managing a fleet across the United States, if you choose 9 a.m. for your devices to communicate, devices that are located in New York will communicate at 9 a.m. Eastern, and devices that are located in San Francisco will communicate at 9 a.m. Pacific. So these times are local to where your device is, and you have capability to be able to choose on a per device basis. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add on this point, Eric. Maybe we can continue on. The next enhancement that Amy spoke about is proactive battery monitoring. So we are leveraging Geotab's DNA pipelines and insights to be able to provide you an understanding both of your battery state of charge of your device, as well as how long we believe the device will last in the field with an estimated life remaining. The state of charge is communicated to you in a percentage, and the life remaining is communicated to you in days, months, and years of lifetime left. The estimated life remaining is a capability that you can consume directly in the rules engine of my Geotab. What we're showing here in the screenshot right now, you can choose a condition in which you would be notified. By default, that's 100 days remaining, and how you want to be notified when your asset tracker may need replacement. This is key for customers who may be managing large fleets of asset trackers. You can minimize device downtime and be able to be alerted to be able to find that asset before the Go Anywhere actually consumes all of its battery, and provides you proactive alerts that can be configurable to your use case. The battery state of charge and estimated life remaining is available both in the assets page and the asset details page of every Go Anywhere, and can be reported on in any of the reports that you utilize day to day within my Geotab. The last mode that we'll speak about, as I mentioned, is high frequency update. The way that you actuate high frequency update has slightly changed in the new version of my Geotab. It can be found on the main asset details page of each asset under asset options. As you can see here, when you choose high frequency mode, you receive an update with an understanding about when high frequency will then be added to that device. As I mentioned too, the updates are now delivered every 5 minutes, regardless of if the core asset is stationary or moving. One note is that this mode will rapidly deplete your device's battery life, so please use it with caution. And last but not least that we'll go through is, as part of this release, we have enhanced the reporting capabilities within my Geotab to be able to meet your needs across your fleet. What we're showing on the top here are insights that we provide within our assets page of devices which may be offline, terminated, or suspended. We have augmented these insights within my Geotab to be robust against the Go Anywhere, the Go device, or your OEM or third-party marketplace devices that you are tracking within my G. These insights can be consumed directly in the assets page of my Geotab, but we also have a new report capability. This is the device online offline report. It looks very similar to the Watchdog if you are familiar with that report. This report will provide you the same insights as you see in the assets page to be able to understand when your device may be offline for further troubleshooting or follow-up. And just as a summary on the enhancements, so we have delivered a number of enhancements to the Go Anywhere, be it via the firmware that's on board your device or within the insights that you can consume within my Geotab. We've made a lot of improvements over the last year as we learn from our customer base in terms of where the product can head to be able to be configurable and support your use cases. The best part of this is that existing customers will automatically receive these updates over the air. These have already been deployed as well as the updates to my Geotab. We are continuously improving on the product as a core focus of the Go Anywhere product. So with every update, we're going to continue to refine performance, eliminate pain points, and introduce new features. All of these updates in my Geotab did go live on February 10th. That brought these major updates to you, including the battery life enhancements and flexible reporting modes. And looking ahead, we'll continue to roll out improvements to the Go Anywhere so that we're at the forefront of asset tracking technology. So with that, I will pass it back to Eric to discuss how you can start taking advantage of these new capabilities.
Yeah, perfect. So hopefully everyone in the audience can see that there has been a lot of work since this product launched last year and a lot of really great enhancements that have just rolled out. So hopefully everyone can take advantage of those for existing customers. These are available immediately. So match the reporting settings with your desired use case, greater flexibility in there. I think there'll be something for everyone. So let's take it back to the basics right now, keeping track of what matters most with the last known location. So just to cover off a few of those basics before we get into the specific use cases, again with Amy, here's what this asset tracker can do with you. That's how we want you to think of asset tracking with the Geotab Go Anywhere. So number one is you can track anything from equipment and materials to any other valuable assets. We really want to expand on the notion of what could be tracked well beyond trailers. You can track your way. So you saw with the features and the enhancements by customizing the reporting with time, movement, or high frequency updates. There's a setting to fit all of your operational needs. Also, simplify reporting. Because everything's within one platform, my Geotab, you're now able to optimize your workflow, keeping track of vehicles, resources, and boosting your efficiency. And finally, of course, protecting your assets. So getting alerts of unauthorized movements to reduce losses and hopefully recover stolen or misplaced equipment faster. So with that overview of tracking anything, tracking your way, simplify reporting, and protecting your assets, let's take a closer look at where Go Anywhere performs best within these real-world use cases. And to do so, I'll pass over to you, Amy.
Sounds good. Okay, so again, asset tracking, asset trackers serve many needs. So where does Go Anywhere fit best? Well, pretty much on anything, but it's designed for any non-powered, high value mobile assets, perfect for industries where reliability, flexibility, that type of tracking is essential. So for example, what we're seeing on the screen, portable equipment, ideal for frequently moved or even intermittently used assets. Unpowered assets, of course, it's great for that because it's battery powered. Reliable tracking for assets without built-in GPS or without power sources. Great for temporary assets because, as we mentioned, it's easy to install and remove for short-term tracking needs. Trailers, you can use it as a covert, like tamper-resistant backup tracker for your trailer. And again, we'll go over some of these use cases in the next couple slides. But seasonal, so got a long battery life for off-grid or seasonal assets. Specialized assets, anything you can think of, anything compact. It's adaptable, uniquely shaped or high value items, great for those as well. So let's jump into those next use cases there. So next, first one I wanted to talk about was the kind of road maintenance compliance. So one use case that we're seeing for this is in the public sector, public works, transportation departments, emergency services. For example, it can be used by a city transportation department responsible for deploying road signs, barriers, maintenance equipment across multiple locations. What do they need to accomplish? So not only ensuring road signage and maintenance equipment are in place for public safety and compliance, but maintaining visibility across multiple departments that they're managing within their city assets, improving planning and resource allocation by knowing exactly where the assets are at all times. Our example here, we sort of thought out loud that what tracking mode would they select? 24-hour reporting, likely. That way they can just verify once a day the deployment location and maintain their compliance records. What else can go anywhere track in this sector? Road maintenance equipment, again, traffic barriers, digital messaging boards, emergency response gear, backup power units, medical supply cases. I mean, we can even be obviously on larger seasonal assets, snow plows, salt spreaders, outdoor event equipment. That's something that I actually hadn't thought of, but when I started to work with Go Anywhere, I was seeing some questions about outdoor event equipment. Next slide. Another use case, rental equipment. I think this one's sort of an obvious one. We've definitely gotten a lot of feedback from the rental companies, knowing what's rented, what's available, where it is in near real time, ensuring operational efficiency and profitability. So again, who would be using it? Maybe a rental equipment company managing a fleet of construction and industrial tools that are rented out to contractors. What would they be tracking? Again, air compressors, scissor lifts, concrete mixers, generators, light towers, temporary infrastructure like portable toilets, storage containers, that sort of thing. So for example, they could compare equipment that was sitting in their zone yard versus equipment that's outside of that zone, meaning these aren't being rented, these are rented out. How does that help with kind of keeping track of profitability? What are they trying to accomplish? Again, ensuring rental equipment is at the correct job site and returned on time, track which assets are in use versus available to, again, optimize their rental fleet inventory. And again, for this one, we're kind of seeing like a 4-hour ping. That way they're kind of confirming all day long. Again, like the timed report 4-hour ping to confirm the equipment delivery, location updates throughout that rental period. And again, what are they able to do as a result of this? Prevent lost revenue by ensuring assets are returned properly, billing accuracy based on asset location and duration of use, or enhanced customer service by quickly locating and deploying available equipment. Next use case. This is definitely one I know Eric mentioned earlier in our talk, that there's some that we weren't really expecting, but have several opportunities that we've sold to around the agricultural industry. So maximizing utilization and preventing asset loss in agriculture by tracking shared, rented, mobile equipment. So the use case was when thinking about utilization, just like the last slide about rented assets, if it's rented, then it has revenue associated with it. If it's sitting in your own location or zone, then no one is paying for it, for example. So rented equipment for agriculture like fertilizers, sprayers, tractors. We're seeing that some co-ops are using this type of tracking for their co-opt equipment. That way they can say, okay, this farmer is finished with it, and somebody can go pick it up and take it to the next farmer, or even that other farmer can go pick it up. And again, same ideas of rental equipment. Show me equipment that's sitting in our zone yard versus out for rental. And again, what are we accomplishing for this type of agricultural utilization is, again, measuring the utilization of owned and shared assets to track usage frequency and optimize scheduling, ensure the shared equipment is available when needed, and prevent delays in planting, fertilizing, and harvesting. Know the last known location for this key equipment to avoid wasting time searching for misplaced assets. Because again, I've heard that actually some of the tractors will just get left. They're done with their field and they just sort of leave it where they were at, expecting it to get picked up. So again, same kind of industry, tillage equipment, tractors, combines, headers, balers, fertilizers, seed distribution trailers, portable grain storage units. Anything you can think of. For this particular group, we are seeing they needed more of that movement-based tracking. That way they're getting that sort of trip start, as Ben was mentioning earlier. Then they get that kind of saved utilization hours in between. So every 30 minutes, we're saving data while the trip is, while we're moving in a trip. And then we'll send out that trip end message. So of course, where that asset ended up. So you got your utilization hours because you know how much it was moving around. And then obviously like idle time. And I don't mean engine idle time as much as just the asset is idle and has been sitting in one spot for, X amount of time. So again, measuring, equipment utilization, understand how often assets are being used, and you can help identify underutilized equipment, improving scheduling, reducing downtime by ensuring equipment is always in the right place at the right time, even preventing theft or unauthorized use, especially for high-value machinery left in remote locations, and enhancing cost efficiency by preventing unnecessary rental or additional equipment purchases. So I think that's a great one for this as well. Again, kind of that same idea as that rental equipment, trying to understand how well some of these assets are being utilized. And then in our next use case is sort of, I think, a common one, construction site. In this one, we're sort of using it as our high frequency update, like construction site security. And again, mostly because a lot of that is high value construction equipment. We want to make sure that it's not only secure, but available when needed. Truthfully, this, site security or even construction asset tracking would be well used with time mode or movement mode. For example, on assets that move around the site really often or vibrate really often, like a generator, you should set it to time mode. That way, we're only pinging every X number of times, maybe pinging every 4 hours, for example, so you know exactly where that asset is and that it's still on site. Meanwhile, we don't have to worry about that vibration piece because we're in time mode. And then, of course, if the asset moves out of the zone, you could then change to your high frequency updates, and you could do that within that 4-hour range. Again, for our high frequency updates, we do need that unit to call in. It would then accept the setting that you've changed it to, for example, high frequency, and it would start to report every 5 minutes moving or not. If it's on an asset that doesn't move often within the site, like mobile lights or temporary fencing, maybe you would set it to movement mode. That way, if it does move, it's on something that's not supposed to move. If it does move, you would know that that asset has started to move because, again, we would send out that sort of trip start report message. And again, you would then have a chance to turn on that high frequency update, and it would accept that as soon as it calls in again. Again, who's using it? A construction company managing equipment across multiple job sites, for example, tracking heavy equipment, buckets, hydraulic breakers, temporary fencing, storage containers. I think I mentioned earlier, porta potties. Surprisingly, those are expensive. Generator and mobile lights, that type of thing. Again, preventing equipment theft, unauthorized movement, maybe anything that could delay that project. Ensuring critical assets like generators and mobile lighting units are available when needed. And again, I sort of explained, movement mode versus timed mode. Both would work in this scenario, kind of depending on that use case. So again, they're able to quickly recover stolen or misplaced equipment, reducing downtime to ensure tools and machinery are where they need to be, and increase accountability and keeping a detailed log of asset movement. That sort of helps as well. And then sort of this last use case, we've mentioned it in a few different use cases, covert. We've also found a couple different ideas around this covert-based tracking. One idea is you just use it on a basic trailer tracking. You don't want to have to wire in a device. You want to just use a covert battery device. And when I say covert, maybe installing it underneath the trailer, that type of idea. But again, even if it's not underneath the trailer, it's a little more hidden. It's a little more covert because it's not wired in. So we have a couple ideas around this. So again, basic tracking of trailers using movement mode. We also have seen that some people just use time mode and use it even as a secondary device. For example, we have a large company that has many thousands of trailers. They're using the Go Anywhere as a covert device along with their other solar tracker. So they're using their solar tracker as more of their main device. But because of our great pricing of the Go Anywhere, they're using it kind of as the more hidden device on this high value trailer, so that if a thief were to steal the trailer, for example, most thieves know to look for a tracker nowadays, sadly, and they would see that solar tracker and pull it off. Meanwhile, we still have that Go Anywhere kind of hidden there. We've also seen that same idea, that covert idea, even with vehicles. We know that we have a high value car leasing company that wants to use these as a secondary hidden device to their Go device. So obviously they have a Go device plugged into the UDP port of the vehicle, but again, thieves know to pull that out. So then at least they have this little secondary tracker to be able to find that vehicle if it does get stolen, or even in their case, if somebody's not making payments, that sort of thing. So we kind of have some very interesting use cases there. So again, you can use it for, logistics and transportation, just literally tracking trailers for cargo transport, but also kind of use it on that theft and security side. Dry vans, flatbeds, refrigerated, trailers, shipping containers for long haul transports, optimizing operations, reducing delays, obviously improving security. Either one, movement, for utilization, or maybe timed mode for sort of that backup concealed tracker. And again, it helps recover stolen trailers and cargo, improve their planning for operations, and ensuring compliance and security, again, to monitor high value shipments in transit. So I think that's it for the use case examples. But Eric, I guess go back to you.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Amy. Thanks very much for bringing some of those use cases to life. We paired those up, obviously, with the tracking mode that we thought could be appropriate for each of these. But I think the best part about the new enhancements is that our customers can choose for themselves. So take these as a rule of thumb and some direction as to what could work. But really think about what use case is best for the specific asset, or sorry, what tracking mode is best for the specific asset that that you're tracking. So we covered a lot in this webinar. Hopefully everyone's feeling good about understanding the enhancements that are available to them right now if they're current Go Anywhere customers in MyG, or if they're thinking about an asset tracking solution. Hopefully we've shown how this product and its new features can fit in with virtually any use case that's out there, and certainly the best fit use cases that we know Go Anywhere will be best for. We do have some questions from the audience, quite a bit of them actually. I'd like to try to get to as many of those as possible. So Ben, Amy, we'll put you on the hot seat. and myself will see if I can answer any of these as we go here. We'll sort of answer these in the order that they came in. For our audience, if there's anything that we didn't cover, anything at all that you can think of right now, feel free to put it in the Q&A module. We'll try to get to it. If we're not able to get to it or get to you, if you submit and you're not anonymous, we'll do our best to follow up with you. And then before we end this webinar, I'll get our contact information back up on screen again. I'm sure both Amy and Ben would be happy to talk to you if you have any specific questions. All right, Amy, Ben, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, the first one that I have in here, I think it relates to the rugged nature of the device. The question is simple, is what is the weather durability like? So who would like to take this one?
I can take this one just to speak to it. So we built the Go Anywhere with rugged, harsh capabilities in mind. We know based on the use cases that Amy outlined and the way that our customers use their assets that they needed a product that could really withstand the test of time. This product is designed for harsh environments. As Amy alluded to, it holds two different IP ratings for dust and water ingress. That's IP68 and IP69K. For both immersion as well as high pressure wash. So if you have a Go Anywhere attached to your trailer and it happens to go through the car wash, there's no issue. I have multiple of these devices that are on my personal vehicle and regularly go through the harsh, rugged Canadian winter and to and from the car wash. In terms of temperature rating, the device is rated to work between -40 to +60 Celsius or 140 Fahrenheit. So also from a temperature standpoint. One thing that I maybe will also allude to in answering that question is the different installation modes that we utilize, be it screws, magnets, or zip ties. Even the magnets themselves are very strong. They can withstand tremendous shock and impact. So we've really looked at the rush capability as a key feature of the product.
Perfect. Yeah, this thing will withstand nearly anything you throw at it. Sounds good. Okay, the next question. Can this unit be in a trailer, on a pallet, a shipment, or placed in a corrugated case to track the shipment? Or would that be too buried to report? I think it's referring to the signal strength, being able to report out from maybe being in an enclosed environment.
I can answer that. I mean, obviously, with any GPS asset tracker, we certainly want to say line of sight of the sky is best. We always say that. However, we have seen actually just that scenario. It was actually part of our beta program where it was inside like a Pelican case, inside of a truck on, like on a pallet. I don't think it was in the pallet, but on a pallet. Truth is it does pretty darn good. I mean, it's one of the reasons that we're seeing this sort of covert, idea of these devices. Now, with any use case, especially if you are going to sort of bury it inside, anything surrounding it by metal, that type of thing. So, of course, it would depend on what that trailer's made of, that type of idea. We would certainly want to see you run a pilot and try it out. I can say that I have mine underneath my car, like as far underneath the car that I can, and it's inside a garage and it's reporting well. The only thing I see every once in a while is a little bit of movement of that GPS, but again, that was expected by me. For example, it looks like my car might be out in the driveway rather than in the garage. So it really depends on kind of what you expect. As far as your GPS location, we're not going to be way off, but yeah, certainly ping me if you'd like on that use case, and maybe we can get some pilot units going and really talk about this further.
Just on that, bringing everyone's contact information back on screen in case you would like to reach out to Amy. There's our email address. And Amy, just on that topic, I mean, looking at some of the photos from customer site visits, I saw quite a few. It was mounted under a trailer, sort of on the chassis. Wasn't there one where a customer also mounted this inside of the case of a generator?
That is true. Yeah, it was actually inside of a welder. So
Oh,
they
wow.
kind of had it inside the little, it was almost in like the little engine compartment area. Obviously, nothing too hot, but yeah, and it worked well. And of course, that is metal. It's pretty thin metal. And they ended up making their purchase. They were actually in our beta program as well and really loved them. In fact, they've spoken out quite a bit how much they like these devices. So I definitely, we're really seeing it handle those type of scenarios well. Being underneath things like a trailer or my car, for example, is a lot easier also because we're kind of bouncing signals. You know, we have some view-ish to the world, whereas, you know, otherwise being encased might be a little more difficult. But again, we're actually seeing some really good
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, some surprising results there. So people might be pleasantly surprised after they run a test scenario.
Yep.
Sounds good. We have one in here specifically about the battery life of the device. Someone's noticed that some older documentation shows that the battery lifespan is quoted as being up to 10 years. Has that changed? And it has. So all of those documents should be updating soon. 10 years was very optimistic. We've changed that, as you can probably see from this presentation, to 3 to 5 years. So that obviously depends on the use of the device, the setting of the device. The higher the ping rate, the shorter the lifespan out there, the less pings, the longer that device should be out there in the field. 3 to 5 years is extremely competitive. You'll see that on the market. We did change that though. We changed that because of the time that we've spent in the market has allowed us to calibrate our battery lifetime span estimation. So having those thousands of devices out there for nearly a year now has let us know how these devices perform in the real world. And it's also given us the ability to introduce features like the 100-day battery advance warning, right? So whether you're anywhere between 3 to 5 years or a little bit less or a little bit more, you'll never be caught off guard when a device loses its signal out in the field because the battery went dead. You'll have the opportunity to call that asset back in or go out to that asset and replace that asset tracker. So that has changed, and that's the reason why.
And again, I want to mention we were really cognizant of price when we put this out as well for that same idea. You know, 3 to 5 years at the low price that this is sold at. I think that is a really good deal.
Yeah, great. Moving on, we have another question. We have a lot of questions actually. We'll try to see how many we get to. We had a flood of them come in when I asked for more. So if the asset tracker is removed, does it send an alert? And maybe let's try to rapid fire some of these.
So I can speak to that. Due to the options that we have to attach the asset tracker to an asset, we are unable to tell you if it has been removed from the core asset. I think if you're interested in if the asset has moved itself or the device, really, the movement mode is where we're able to do that. But at this time, we're unable to provide an insight if it has been removed from the core asset.
Perfect. Next one is, if the Go Anywhere is on a container and ends up in another country, would it still report if it wasn't on a local network? So I think referring to modems and cell networks that are out there. So how might that work?
I can also take that. So this is very dependent on which carrier your Go Anywhere communicates on and the various roaming contracts that we have. Amy and I have a number of deployments that we've been working with in terms of devices which may be, for example, moving across the United States and Canadian border. And those products do indeed continue to roam. If you have specific questions about carriers or support, please reach out to your reseller or Geotab support, and we can try to answer those specific questions.
Great, I think that's fair. Yeah, also depends highly on carrier coverage, I imagine, as well too. So we want people to choose the right carrier and the right device for their use case, which involves where it's operating. All right, we have another one. Do you have an existing client in the portable toilets business that you can reference for an opportunity that I'm working on? Please. Maybe one that we can't take live. We can make sure that we follow up on that one, though. What do you think, team?
Yeah, maybe hit me up on that. We do mention the porta potties a lot because we know, the expense of them. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely. You can see my email address there. Shoot me an email and let me see if I can find one that maybe we're allowed to give you their name and you can check in with them. But
Yeah,
I
for sure.
can't think in my
I
head.
captured that one too, so we'll make sure that we get back to it.
Perfect.
Maybe just on that note, we also continue to work with the various fleets that we've deployed with in terms of success stories and capabilities to be able to share with others. So I think more to come on that front.
Yeah, that's great. We have an anonymous person who wrote in here, not very much a question, just on the side of case studies and testimonials. We use the Go Anywhere to track our trade show booth case during shipment, and it works well. So maybe we also want that person following up with us. We'd love to learn how it's been going and if we can make a case study out of it.
This sort of sounds like the beta program group, so I might know
It might
you.
be. Yeah, good group. We have another one here about perhaps what might be in store for the Go Anywhere product line of family and future hardware. The question is, will you be making a smaller Go Anywhere anytime soon? This one's pretty small, but people want an even smaller one. So, what do you think about that?
So I can speak to this. So the Go Anywhere is our first asset tracker, and we continue to understand where we can build new hardware to meet more needs within asset tracking. There's a multitude of new needs that we're being exposed to through this product. The Go 9 is very vehicle or equipment focused, but we're seeing all sorts of different use cases, as Amy alluded to. Size continues to be something that we do get requests on. Now, there is a limit as to how small we can get in terms of being able to provide very accurate GPS location. It's more of like it's a connection between device size and how large the circuit board is within the device for us to be able to derive like very accurate insights. So we continue to try to focus on being able to optimize that ratio, be able to provide you very accurate insights, but also get as small as possible. So I think maybe rest assured that we continue to be able to try to work towards it, but we are trying to prioritize being able to give you those very fresh insights about where your asset is.
Yeah, sounds like, and knowing the product team, that's like exactly the type of problem that you like being worked on. But the Geotab way is also to introduce products when they're ready. So I'm sure more great things to come. But for now, really focusing the Go Anywhere on the best fit use cases. So and on the current version of the Go Anywhere tracker, the next question is related to batteries. Can batteries be replaced by our techs?
They cannot. Again, mostly because we wanted that IP69K rating with that really heavy harsh environment rating. We are not allowing them to be replaced in the field.
Sounds good. Yeah, and it's why the 100-day alert battery warning was so important for the team to prioritize, and we're really happy to have been able to develop that. That gives you ample time to be in the know and also to monitor really the status of your battery in case you're ever wondering. So you never have that scenario where you're unsure of how long your device is going to last. You will know, and you will have enough time to go out there and replace it. The trade-off, of course, is having the rugged nature of the device. This approach makes sure that the device is reliable when it's out there in the field, right? So there's trade-offs to anything, and that's one of them. All right, I think we have this next question is long, so hang in here with me. This is the last one that we have in. So it is, This question is more conceptual and doesn't need to be brought up. Doesn't need to be brought up on the Q&A. So maybe we'll hold that one back. That's sort of a funny one right at the end of the call. But maybe with that, we'll follow up on that question that doesn't need to be a part of the Q&A. So thank you for the person who asked that. We'll get back to you on that one. For our panelists right now, is there anything else that you wanted to add or to sign off on?
I think the only item that I will end off on is we appreciate everyone's time. Very curious to understand the pain points or use cases that you're looking to utilize for the Go Anywhere as we continue to refine on both capabilities within the device as well as in my Geotab. So please reach out to me. Very curious to learn more about how you see using the device.
Absolutely. I think I just saw a quick question come in about networks as well. So I'll just name off real quick. Just about every network in North America you can think of. We currently are on AT&T, Rogers in Canada, Bell in Canada, TELUS in Canada. Verizon is coming next, and T-Mobile's coming next as well. Those are coming up pretty soon. I believe that's March, April timeframe for those for full production, or I'm sorry, for our certification, beta unit certification. So we definitely will have all the networks coming here soon.
Perfect. Yeah, great news. Great news to end on. Amy, Ben, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for helping us share the great information about the Go Anywhere product enhancements. I know both of you are really excited about it. For anyone watching this recording in time, and for those of you who are on the line watching, both Amy, Ben will be at Geotab Connect for those going. They'd love to take your questions, meet with you in person, talk more about the Go Anywhere. For absolutely everyone else, please take down their contact information and feel free to reach out to them. They'd also love to talk to you virtually about the Go Anywhere and your current use case and needs. All right, and without further ado, thank you everyone who has been in attendance. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Thanks all.